Good morning, 17 minutes to 12. I'm Caroline Robertson, with you until 2 o'clock today. And today is International Guide Dog Day. The sight loss charity Guide Dogs, they're kicking off its 90th anniversary year by introducing its newest recruit, Flash, a 4-month-old yellow Labrador named after one of the first ever guide dogs, way back in 1931. Wow. To raise awareness and thank more than 14,000 guide dogs volunteers who provide 13 million hours of volunteer support every year, helping ensure people living with sight loss can live the life they choose. Well, guide dogs have immortalised Flash in a new short film starring Gavin and Stacey star Joanna Page. Here's a clip.
My name's Flash and I'm a guide dog. I help a person with sight loss live the life they choose. It's what I was born to do. But that doesn't mean I was born ready to do it. It took a lot of care, patience and love to make me the dog I am today, particularly when I was a very small pup. In fact, it took a very special lady called Annie. Annie was my puppy raiser, and I can still remember the day we met. I was nervous as Ben from Guide Dogs carried me up the drive towards that big front door. Ben knows everything about raising super skilled and happy pups.
Good girl, Flash.
But then...
Hey, Flash. Welcome to your new home.
She had a beautiful, bright smile, and her house smelled of biscuits. I thought, yeah, we're going to get on.
Okay, so that was adorable. Well, let's chat now to Janet Harper from Guide Dogs and Sue Forty, who runs the Larry's Lodge guest house in Keswick. Sue has spent most of her life working with guide dogs. Welcome, Janet and Sue.
Good morning. Hello, thanks for having us on.
Oh, morning, both. No, lovely to have you, and happy International Guide Dog Day. I mean, it's a big year for the charity, Janet. 90th anniversary. Tell us a bit about how far we've come since, one of the first guide dogs, Flash.
Well, as you say, it's the sort of the kick-off today. So it's it's International Guide Dogs Day, hence why we've launched Flash today. And yeah, we're just really reflecting on the last 90 years and the fact that we have produced 36,000 guide dog partnerships, which is incredible, and supported thousands more with our support services, and just ensuring people with sight loss can live the life that they choose. So 90 exciting years, and what a lot of people don't know is that guide dogs actually started in the Northwest those 90 years ago. So Flash was in the Northwest of England, which is great for us, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. We're claiming the first Flash here in the Northwest. How marvellous. I mean, 90 years, remarkable work, and helped so many people. And I love that. Living the life they choose. It's about getting that independence back. And the remarkable creatures. I cannot begin to imagine how back in 1931, the first persons thought, let's see if dogs can help those with sight loss. Do we have any idea how that came about?
Well, yes, really. It was after the Second World War that with soldiers coming back with sight loss, and the fact that that it was recognised that that dogs potentially could be used as a guide, and yeah, that's how it all came about, really, through through the war and. As I say, soldiers coming back. So, yeah.
Wow.
Really interesting story.
I had no idea, Janet. And I guess, because, dogs played a part in the war effort, as many animals did. And yes, injured soldiers coming back with sight issues, and dogs could be trained. I mean, what qualities does it take in those volunteers to train one of these puppies?
Well, Sue might be better to answer this, because Sue has actually incredibly raised 7 pups herself in the past. But yeah, volunteers need to be. They don't need to have lots of dog experience, because they get lots of support and supervision from guide dogs. they need to have the time, really, and the confidence to go out and about in the local community, to use public transport, to go into shops and busy places with the pup. Pups being pups, they can have little accidents and they can not always be on the best behaviour. So it's just having that, in the volunteer, it's just having that confidence, really, just to deal with those situations and just keep supporting the pup in its progress and until it goes on to be a confident young dog to come in for training, to start its formal training.
Well, Sue, let's ask you then, because you've, as Janet says, worked with guide dogs for years. Tell us a bit about what it's like to train a guide dog.
Well, you don't get paid a great deal, but it was the best job I ever had. I did it when I lived in the northeast a few years ago, and I did 7 puppies over a period of 8 years. There was lots and lots of support from guide dogs. I had never actually ever had a dog before, but I'd always been interested in guide dogs through watching Blue Peter as a little girl, when they were raising money to train Honey, the very first guide dog that Blue Peter was involved with. And so I was well aware of the charity sort of in a background sort of way. And then when my children grew up and Blue Peter was doing Goldie, we raised money for that as well. And then many years later, I became unemployed and thought, while I'm waiting for a job to come around, I might as well do some voluntary work. So I applied to be a puppy walker. And guide dogs came out and interviewed me and made sure that my house was safe and that the garden was enclosed, which it was. I then started doing B&B, so I never actually ever went back to being employed, as it were. I was self-employed from home, so being at home all day long really, really fitted in well with the puppies.
My goodness.
You take them out every day to experience all the different sights and sounds of the great outside world, and you do it very, very gradually. So the first time you take them out, you probably only do about 10 yards, and then you build it up. The first time you get them on a bus, you just go one stop and then you walk back. Same if you go on a train, because blind people use public transport all the time, really. So you have to get them used to the sounds and the smells of public transport. Also, supermarkets, we have to train them to not sniff everything, which is against their instincts, really, as a dog. So that took a little bit of patience. But again, you do it gradually. You carry them round the first time. Next time you maybe do one aisle and then leave the store. And gradually, by the end of the year of the training, you want to be able to get them to a point where you can do your full weekly family shop with a trolley, with a dog, without it sniffing anywhere. And it was really, really interesting to see the puppies develop and how their confidence sort of grew. But all the time that I was doing this, there was always somebody on the end of the telephone that you could fall back on if you had an issue. For instance, I once had a puppy that ate a glass bauble off the Christmas tree.
Oh, no.
And I really panicked because it was 9:30 at night. What on earth do I do, But they taught me through it, and I was able to get in touch with my local vet, and they met me at their practice in Hexham, and we ascertained that the dog hadn't swallowed anything. It actually had spat it out, so that was
bless you.
And yeah, you mentioned that that you can have some embarrassing sort of accidents, and yes, I did while I was trying on some underwear in Marks and Spencer's once. But it's all part of it, really. I never laughed so much when I was a puppy walker.
Oh, Sue, sorry. What wonderful stories. 7 dogs you've had over 8 years, inspired by Blue Peter, and with the help of the guide dogs, you've been able to train them. You are going to have to clarify, because you said you had an accident when trying on underwear. You're going to have to clarify
it. I'm not going to go into that.
We're going to leave it there. Okay, let's leave that hanging. I love it. Let people make it up themselves.
Even though I'm no longer involved in the puppy walking side, I still am heavily involved with guide dogs. I do public speaking all over Cumbria, not at the moment because of COVID restrictions. And I currently have a withdrawn guide dog called Lawrence, who everybody in Keswick adores. And we adopted him when he was 15 months old because he didn't quite make it, because our standard is really high. And he's actually having a bad dream at the moment. He's lying in his bed. And his
Lawrence.
paws are going. I think somebody's chasing him in the park in his dream, but he's an adorable dog. So as soon as restrictions are lifted, he'll be coming out with me while I do more promotion.
Because I was going to ask, I mean, that's interesting, Lawrence, you didn't maybe quite make the cut. I mean, so clearly no, I was going to say, can any dog do this? Or, what qualities does the doggy have to be a guide dog?
Maybe the other lady could answer that better than me, because...
do you want me to?
Janet?
Yeah, I can take that question. Yeah, so we breed our own dogs. So we know lots about them, our mums and our dads and their grandparents, the heritage. So we know lots about the dogs. Sue's absolutely right. Not every dog makes it. I think currently around sort of 75% make it. We do have another service where we have companion dogs and buddy dogs. So these are dogs that perhaps don't quite make the grade as a guide dog, but would make a companion to a child or a young person or an adult with sight loss as a companion dog for confidence and that's what we would look at initially. But then we also have we do have a rehoming scheme as well. For puppy raisers like Sue, if a dog didn't make it, then we would approach the puppy raiser to ask them if they would like the dog back as a pet dog. And then a lot of those dogs go on to support volunteers, so they might accompany them to talks or go fundraising. So lots of different options.
Well, Janet and Sue, thank you both so much for joining me this morning to talk about guide dogs. Janet Harper is from the charity. They're marking 90 years. Have a look at their website. You can see what they're doing to mark that milestone anniversary. 90 years of training guide dogs, and it's thanks to people like the brilliant Sue. Now, Sue runs the Larry's Lodge guest house in Keswick, I told you. Larry being her first guide dog puppy that she trained. She named her guest house after him. 7 dogs over 8 years Sue has trained, having been inspired by watching an episode of Blue Peter. They did a lot with guide dogs and fundraising. She hadn't had a dog until this. And isn't that incredible? She's never laughed as much since training them. I'm kind of obsessed with that accident in M&S story, but she wouldn't go into further details anyway. How cool is that? So Sue 40 from Keswick, who spent most of her life working with guide dogs. Janet there telling us a bit more about what they're doing to mark 90 years. Incredible work. Are you a guide dog owner? Tell me how your guide dog has changed your life. They help those living with sight loss to live the life they choose. Tell me a bit about your guide dog. We can celebrate your doggy today. 81333. Start your message, please, with the word Cumbria.